And hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the only online racing show dedicated exclusively to Laurel Park. It's this week at Laurel Park. My name's John Piasek, 21-year-old undergrad college student over at Loyola in Baltimore, Maryland. A big Maryland racing fan, currently the editor of AnonymousRacing.com, online horse racing fan website, featuring online, free picks and analysis from many tracks. We had coverage of Saratoga almost all meet long, and now I'll be handicapping Laurel Park on the site as well as hosting this show. This show covers Laurel Park every Saturday. Apologies. This show covers every race every Saturday at Laurel. In addition, if you follow me on Twitter, this week at Laurel, you'll find my coverage of Laurel Park live updates every racing day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Plus, on Sunday, I'll be going Twitter live during the code, giving thoughts on horses' odds, as well as who to bet on, why not to bet on them. Usually, it's because of odds, the value isn't as good, and also we will talk about what happened after every race. So, let's cut to the chase. It's opening Saturday. Timonium just wrapped up. Fairmead saw massive handle increases, hoping for the same thing at Laurel. We had rain in the Laurel Park area on Tuesday and Wednesday, hoping for some nicer weather today. We had nicer weather actually yesterday, Thursday, and today, so it should be a fast and firm track. 12 races are on the schedule for today, including 2 stakes, Challedon Stakes for male sprinters and the Shine for female sprinters, the latter of which had 13 entries. 136 horses passed the entry box, 12 races, 7 on grass, 5 on dirt. So let's begin. Race 1 on the card here is, as you can see, my first night past performances, so I'll be referencing these throughout the show, and then as the meet goes on, I'll start following like different trends, trips, hot trainers, hot jockeys, that kind of thing. And then hopefully we'll have a more broad picture and a little better in-depth analysis on all things Laurel Park. Alright, race 1 on the card here. It's a slider optional claiming field. $25,000 is the tag, post 30,000, 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. There's 4 turf sprints on the card here, so if you like turf sprints, this is the card for you. And I don't want to be too originally here, and frankly, I don't want to waste too much time on this race. Number 5, Roby's Boy looks much the best. He's had rough trips in both of his last 2 starts. Actually, 2 starts back, he was in against open numbers of 1 under that allowance company here at Laurel. He was far behind early on, had a big rally from way back and won at 44-1, earned a Brisnet figure there of 87, a very good number. And then he improved off of that. He went up to a 94. And won against starter optional claiming horses. Came second against starter optional claiming horses. My apologies. Did run that big 94. Had a rough trip. He broke slowly. He was last. Had to go 6 wide on the turn. He probably won't have to go 6 wide because it's only a field of 8 horses, so obviously not as much competition. Steve Hamilton does retain the mount. He made his big comeback last year. He started off slowly, and at first I was very wary of betting his horses. However, ever since then, he's really blossomed and has he had a decent so I mean he won at about a 9% clip. It's okay, not great, but again, it is improvement from where he started off at. And really, this horse's figures is tower over everyone else. As I said, a 94 and an 87. The only horse who ran so much as at least an 80 in his last race is number 8, Scrapple, who's a very odd horse because he really had shown almost no ability to speak of in any of his prior races this year. Comes in, exits the exact same race that Roby's Boy does on August 11th. He was 79-1. He showed speed, which he had never really shown before he started early on. And he finished 4th and ran a figure of 91. That's a lifetime top by about, at least in recent memory, it's a lifetime top by about 14 points. So I don't know if I quite believe that figure. If he runs back to it, he'll win at probably huge odds, but I'm not going to bet on it. I think Roby's Boy is just the best horse in the field. He'll be almost unbettable win odds, I would imagine. If he goes off at like less than 7-5, just jump on him because he's getting great value. If you want to play an exacta or a trifecta horses, I'd throw underneath number 6, T Sizzle. Makes his second slide off year layoff in the past and shown good form over the grass at an 80 and an 84. Alex Centron picks the mount. He should stalk the pace on the outside. And also number 1, Chili Magician was 6 wide and 5 wide respectively in his last 2 races. He did get up to win last time out against similar horses over a yielding grass track back at Laurel on August 5th. He at a figure of 78. He has a moderate late closing punch. He'll be coming from a little far behind. Crimson Secret is the one who's going to show the most early speed here. He's number 4. He has not shown a ton of great late kicks, so he man hang in there. However, if nothing else will give you a nice bang for the buck. So just to recap, number 5 is much the best. And if you're playing pick 5, 4% takeout, by the way, on the pick 5. If you're playing that pick 5, just single him and move on. Don't make things trickier than they have to be. Race 2 here, this is a maiden claiming field, $10,000. It's not a great field, and I'm not going to make any pretenses that it is. It looks like it's pretty much a 2-horse race here. Number 4 is Slim and number 5 Hurricane Harold. I am leaning toward Hurricane Harold only because Slim, he has a record of 7 starts. He has no wins, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds. So this is a horse who appears to be a very chronic maiden. He just loves coming in second and third, but he just hates winning for some reason. Maybe he's a pack animal. He doesn't like to be in front. He hasn't been in front, actually. He hasn't had a clear lead in any of his races ever, so that's not great. He also lost at this level at Maryland track 5 times in a row while coming in second and third every time. This is since May in Pimlico. Last time out, he didn't have a bad figure. He had a 69, which is a very competitive number in this field, but he just never really fired. He came second and went off at 8-5. He was the second favorite that day. So he's gone off at low odds actually now 2 times in a row. He was 5-2, 2 races back. So, you know, he'll probably be the favorite here, if not the favorite, second favorite. So as far as win goes, I'm not betting him to win. I would use him maybe in like a pick 5 or pick 4. I think pick 4 starts here, early pick 4. There's 3 pick 4s today, by the way, Laurel, keep that in mind. But, you know, he's not a win candidate. He's a good horse. Very good horse. He's got good speed figures. That's why I lean toward number 5, Hurricane Harold. He is cutting back in distance and entering at a $10,000 tag for the first time. He had 4th last time out. He showed some early speed. He stalked the pace in an off the grass affair, going 1 mile against $60,000 horses. He faded. He came in 4th, beat by 5.5 lengths. Although it's worth noting he was in the mix for second place. Winner of that race, Earnhardt, he won by 4 3/4 lengths. He just lost by a length to the runner-up in 3rd place finisher, including Sunset Oach came in 3rd. He came back to win his next race. Yelmo Tours, unfortunately, does not stay on. Louis Rodriguez actually named 2 horses in this field. It's him and Awesome Standard. Awesome Standard has plunged off a cliff as far as his form goes lately. So it'll be interesting to see who Rodriguez stays on, and that's why you got to follow at This Week at LOL. This Week at Laurel on Twitter, and you can get updates on these things and see if I change my opinion. But at the moment, as of 10:24 a.m. on Friday, September 8th, Hurricane Harold is the top pick. And of course, he has not lost at this level before, so maybe it's just what he needs. I guess we'll see. So 5 and 4 are the top horses here. Slim is really used if I want to play an exacta or a trifecta box and use Slim or Furman for low insurance in pick 4, pick 5, go for it. However, I think he'll be a huge underlay, and he could win. You know, he absolutely can win this race. He's got great late pace, great speed figures, but you know, again, I can sleep at night not betting on 7 to 5 super shots. You know, I can. And also, horse, a 3rd pick is Florida Wildcat. 4th time off the layoff, ships in from Charleston. He's got decent late pace. He gets off of a boring. He actually had his peak figure at Laurel, which was a 70, and he's definitely a horse who can sneak in 2nd or 3rd, and possibly big odds. Race 3. Race 3 is very tough, no doubt about it. It is a $7,500 claiming race. 3-year-olds are now 5.5 furlongs on the grass, field of 12, and there are many different directions that you can go in here. So I'm going to just profile a few horses who I thought had a shot I will post on anonymous way on picking on top. However, this is a race. I'm sorry. This is a race where you really have to spread out. I think. Use many horses in this leg and just see what happens. So the early speed in this race is number 1, Great Hope K. He's got the best early pace figures in the field. He's gonna shoot to the front from the inside and just go on with it. Well, hopefully, let's go on with it. Jamie Ness is a trainer, and this is not the same Jamie Ness as once was. He only went at 12% at the Laurel Park meet. He's 18% on the year. It's a far cry from the days of him winning at like 35% of Tampa Bay Downs or stuff like that. So any magic he may have, apparently it's just not there anymore. This horse came in second last out against $11,000 horses. He's a mile drop in class. He had running at this level going a route of ground at Pimlico in the spring. He came in 3rd place and 6th place. Of course, that was going long, sprinting. It could be his cup of tea, so he could just go to the front from the inside. He'll almost certainly be on the lead at the opening quarter-mile marker, and if he can get clear enough, maybe he could win. Again, he's definitely one worth considering here. Heavy and Toledo retains the mount, and he also has, I believe, the best last out figure in the field, and he does. Of an 87, 7 points higher than the next best horse in the field. So again, pace could favor him very much. Number 3, Against the Wind. Tripson from Penn National had run much better form earlier in the year, an 86, a 90, and 81 at Laurel over the course of the spring and the early summer. He never won any of those races, though. However, did face decent competition, including Billy Ball, who beat Against the Wind twice. So I guess if you are keeping company, beating or losing to a relative grass sprint legend like Billy Ball is not a bad thing to have happen to you. Went in a Penn National, didn't earn a great figure, earned a 77 on the original scale, of course, but still got the job done. He'll be stalking the pace on the outside. Katie Davis, who had a pretty good meet at Laurel Park, she's definitely blossoming a little bit. She was at 14% on the summer meet. She gets the mount here, replacing Tyler Connor, who's not coming into Penn National to ride this mount, and it's definitely one, again, just to keep in mind. Number 5, Hooper Secret. Horse who has very good late pace figures of averaging at 87. Had a rough trip last out at this level on August 6th at Laurel in the 8th race. Broke slowly, was last almost the entire way, and this took him, I should say, a little bit out of his element because he's usually a horse who's kind of like mid-pack, like 5th, 6th early on. He was 11th out of 11 in the early stages of this race, so he was way out of it. Broke slowly, swooped, almost got there, lost by a neck at 5-to-1 odds. Now, obviously, it's 12 horse field, so he could get into more traffic trouble today. But if he can get clear, he should improve. He ran a 78 in his last race, did an 82 2 times before that. So he's going to definitely, or hopefully, take a jump up back to that 82, and that 82 could be good enough to win him, based on the quality of the field. Number 7, here's Johnny. He hasn't won since on grass since February 4th when he won against $16,000 horses at Tampa Bay Downs. He's been very close though, almost every single time. In his last 3 starts, he's been in 2nd or 3rd. 2 of those times, it was by less than a length, and he lost as a favorite 2 out of those 3 times. Another kind of horse who, if he's like less than 4-1 or so, I'm not betting him to win. His speed figures are decent. He had an 84 2-back, 81 3-back, 85 4-back, going a mile and 16th in that race at Pimlico. He didn't run great last time out, only hit a 77. However, it could be attributed to the yielding surface. Now he's coming on what I imagine is going to be a firm surface, so that should be a benefit to him. So those are the top horses, top contenders in this field. We got 1, 3, 5, and 7. Use in whatever combination you want. If you plan to pick 4 or pick 5, those are 4 good horses to use, if you ask me. And also, just want to give a shout out here to Starship Thor with 14. He's stuck on the also eligible list. However, he has shown a lot of good ability in the past. Back in March, he had a 90 speed figure going 5.5 furlongs against starter allowance foes at Gulfstream Park. Didn't do too much against started at Lowndes Company at Delaware last time out back on August 2nd was his first start off a 7-week layoff. Came in on threatening 5th. He hasn't working out some since then. Gene Rally trips in. Victor Crosco scheduled to get him out. If he draws in, he'll have a rough time for post 12, but his figures have put him in the mix as a contender. Alright, race 4, maiden special weight, 3-year-olds and up. We are still at 5.5 furlongs. Field of 9 is going here. We have 3 first-time starters, including a horse who I don't like today, but possibly down the road. Let's go with the rain for the Horacio de Paz and the Sagamore Farm team. He's only worked out 3 times ever, and he's only had 1 workout since July 1st. So is he going to win today? No. Unless he's like Superman. Super horse. He's not going to win. But he has good grass breeding, you know. Sagamore, always to be respected. De Paz, always to be respected. He's very good on turf. He's won 19%. And he's 26% with first-time starters. But A, this is a field that, as I'll get to in a moment, that has shown ability going long. And B, again, 3 workouts. This horse appears to be very, very raw. So I would, if he shows ability today, like even if he comes close to winning on Saturday, then, you know, I will happily bet him again. But, you know, not today. Horse I do like is number 5, Mr. Small. He battled for the lead last time out in his debut against $40,000 company and went. It was a very impressive fracture. The opening quarter was 22-1, half was 45 and 1/5 seconds, and the early pace figures on Brisnet were spectacular. A 101 and a 104 over the first 2 clips, and he still held on. He did not quit the entire time, and he went on to win. He lost by in second. I said to win. I shouldn't have said that. Whatever. You know, it's the first show. If I trip up, now if I make mistakes in week 7, then you get mad at me. Until then, I'm just doing the best I can. So he came in second. He lost by 3 3/4 lengths. He earned a speed figure of 86 on debut. That is excellent. The par for maiden special weight on grass at Laurel is an 85, so he's already exceeded par, and it's only his first race. Not something you see very often. He's had 2 good workouts since then, including a drill on September 1st at Laurel. He did 4 furlongs in 49 seconds flat. Not a bad time. He's going to be showing early speed, and it's really, I mean, obviously, first-time starters could be showing speed. No one else who has experience has shown the foot that could keep up with him. So if Mr. Small breaks clean, he goes to the front, it could be all over. And, you know, I wonder if bettors are going to be a bit leery because, like, oh, you know, he was in a maiden claiming now he's in a maiden special weight. In a special weight, I say, I don't care. I'm still going to play him. That's what I'm going to do. The horse, to keep in mind, is 4, Clever Triad. He's lost 3 times in a row. At this level, he was third, and second, respectively. Ran speed figures in the mid-80s all the time. He'll be coming from behind, so if Mr. Small tires out, and even Kenny Bay, the one who has been showing some mild speed in the past, fades away and nobody else kicks on, you know, he can come to the back of the pack and just whoosh on by. So he's a horse I'd use. Playing the pick 4, the pick 5. Throw him in and see what happens. Race 5, we are back to the dirt here. This is a maiden claiming field, tagged $25,000, 2-year-olds, 5 furlongs. The horse, I mean, really no one in the field has shown. There's 7 horses who have gone before, 2 first-time starters, field 9 overall, math, and none of them have shown really any ability at all, so it's really kind of a coin toss. The only horse who has shown a glimmer of hope is number 5, Midnight Cry. He ran at 5 furlongs last out on debut against company like this, and he did not trig well at all. He said he broke slow. He was 8.5 lengths behind early on, so a 22-4 opening quarter mile. So if you are in a 5 furlong race and you're A, running that slow fractions, and B, you're that far behind with 3 some mile to go, you're not going to win. It's almost physically impossible to do so. And yet, he made him decent ground. He came in third, lost by 2.5 lengths. The horse, he lost second by a head, so he didn't run too badly there. He earned a Brisnet speed figure of 63 in that race, which is better than really anybody in the field has ever done. It was only his second start. He did 4 furlongs in 47 seconds back on September 1st, and actually outworked Mr. Small, who I just talked about in the 4th race, and an older horse, so that's a good sign. And Rodney Jenkins, he doesn't send out many trainers, but if he does, they're live. He had 23% at the Laurel Park Spring Meet, and he's 26% with horses making their second career start. All very good signs. So my win play here is going to be Midnight Cry, as long as you get the odds. I'm thinking about 2-1, 5-2 is fair value on him. We'll update, of course, as the day goes on. And really, there's not much positive to say about anybody else in the field. It's not a great bunch. One horse I do want to keep and give a shout out to is the Arkansas bred, number 8 Brahms Romp. Challedon Russell gets aboard. Horse has shown some mild early speed here in the 4th at this level last time out. Got hung wide, hoping to avoid being hung wide again. Number 9 Punch Your Brother, interesting name there, is coming in from Penn National. He had an awkward break too, and he only ran at 4.5 furlongs. So you know you're done out of the gate if you break slowly at 4.5 furlongs. You're done. And the horse was bet. He was 5-2 in that race at Penn National, and a maiden special weight at Penn National is probably about the equivalent of a maiden claiming at this level here at Laurel. So it's fairly equivalent. And the horse was bet, so people thought or knew that the horse has maybe shown some ability. He's got some reason to believe there. Didn't do much. Comes in here, he breaks cleanly. He does have to have post 9. That is going to be a deterrent. However, breaks cleanly, you know, never say never. Alright, race 6 is coming up here, and once we pass race 6, we'll be halfway through the Laurel Park card, which is a good thing. Not one is a 2 claiming 5.5 furlongs on the grass. This is the 4th and last turf sprint of the day, and this is a race where I think something absolutely crazy could happen. Crazy. Because no one has shown it's a field full of cheap speed. Lots and lots of horses have very good early pace figures and very bad late pace figures. They go to the front and they just tire out. They just stop cold. So that's why I am more inclined to look toward a long shot here. Well, I mean, to be quite honestly, I have not looked at the morning line, so I don't know for certain how much of a long shot is going to be. I mean, he is trained by J.B. Ness, ridden by Challedon Russell, so he might get some money. However, I do think one horse to keep an eye on is number 6, Papacho. The horse has no early speed. He's a dead closer, which is a good sign in this field. He's dropping down fairly significantly. He was at Beaumont Park earlier in the year, came in 4th, didn't do too bad after racing wide. Was last seen on grass at $25,000, came in 5th, and then had a brief trip over to dirt where he ran against $10,000 horses, came in 2nd place there after racing wide. His speed figures are very good. He didn't run great at the about 5.5 furlong distance at Monmouth Park last out, only ran a 62 there. However, it was an about distance, so you can't say for sure because sometimes those times can be a little bit funky, which is never a great thing. And he had done figures, as I adjust my chair, in the mid-70s in the past, so that's always a good thing. And in fact, helps him fit right in with these. He's got the best late pace figures in the field. He averages an 83, closing from behind. So if the pace melts down, he'll be the one to take advantage of it the most. Sheldon Russell gets aboard here. He has a big weight break. He's only carrying 116 pounds. Some horses in the field are carrying up to 124. So that's a good advantage for him. And as I said, it's just one of those. And it's just one of those races where you just don't know, because as I said, so much early speed, it could all melt down. This race, it's up for a bomb. So really, if like anybody who's not a speed horse, I can't argue with you because it's just that kind of field. So I'm just talking about a link here. Pacho is my play. He's number 6. He's ridden by Sheldon Russell. He's trained by Jamie Neff. It's a little 12, by the way. 12 horses, 4 also eligibles. This is a prototypical Laurel Park race, and I find it to be absolutely wonderful. By the way, in this field, I made a little chart of like the best early pace and the best late pace in the field. Only 2 horses really accelerate in the last part of the race. Ace, that's number 6, Hapacho, and number 2, Mr. Dusty, who has really not shown a glimmer of ability outside of one time back in November when he came in 3rd at 73 to 1 against similar horses going a lot of ground. He's making his second start off a layoff. He couldn't have gone any worse. Last time out, he lost by 22 lengths on the dirt. 22 lengths on turf, that is the equivalent of losing on dirt by about 5 billion lengths. However, he has worked out fairly well since then. Lower leg laser gets the mount, which is a slight jockey upgrade. You know, he'll be 99 to 1, but you know, if he comes in the bottom of a try or a super, don't say I didn't warn you. Anyway, halfway through the card, race 7 on the card here, maiden special weight. This is on the dirt. It's 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds and up. My top pick here is number 2, Cobb. I believe it. That's how it's pronounced. It's spelled C-O-B-H. I think that's Cobb. I will almost certainly be corrected at some point, and then you can all come in the comments and laugh at me in the YouTube video. So Cobb has a problem. He is a very bad breaker. Very bad. He has had trouble with getting out of the gate. In his debut at Delaware Park back on June 8th, he broke slowly, came in 2nd, lost by a length, big figure of 88. Went into Parks on the 4th of July. He broke slowly again, and he came in 3rd, on a figure of 80 at 5-2 odds. Both of those figures are good enough to win this race, if you ask me. It is a field of 8 horses, 3 first-time starters, so those horses probably are not that viable of contenders. Since that bad race of Parks back on like over 2 months ago, Cobb had a string of good workouts. He most recently went 4 furlongs at a Delaware Park in 47 and 3/5 seconds. So I imagine, I hope at least, they have been working out this $270,000 purchase in the starting gate, because that would obviously be a big help. If he breaks clean, he's going to be a huge threat, because this is a horse who runs figures good enough to win even when getting off disastrously. He breaks clean this time, then they're all running just for fun, because there's no way they could beat him. So 3 seconds out of the gate, if you bet on him, you are going to know how it's going to be. But cleanly, you know, money in the bank, bada boom, see you later. He breaks slowly, you know. It's a little more of a roll of the dice for Cobb. If he breaks clean, he'll be very tough. Of course, keep in mind here's number 7, Best Kind of Trouble. Very wide last time out on debut. Came in 3rd. Came 9 lengths clear of 4th place. A good sign. We're going to figure of 84 in the debut. Sure to try. Well, obviously break cleaner. He was wide last time out. He does draw post 7 out of 8 here. That could be a bit of a hindrance to him, because it could be wide again. We don't know. It's all in the hands of fate. So 2 is the play to win here. 7 is a horse to think about underneath. Race 8, maiden claimant, $16,000, 3-year-olds and up, 1 mile on the grass, field of 10, a few eligibles. Worth noting, by the way, this race is for amateur jockeys. They're all amateurs here, folks. So just keep that in mind. Caveat employ, I think it is. I'm an idiot. I don't know the exact phrase. But anyway, I don't speak Latin, so it's buyer beware. They're all amateur jockeys. They may not be as good as the best jockeys, so if you get a bad ride or wonder why the weight is so high, you have been warned. Maiden claiming field is here, and I'm going to take a horse dropping out of a Virginia-bred maiden race, and a horse who has burned a lot of money while losing in these Virginia-bred maiden races. It's number 2 on the wings of. Raced on June 24th at Laurel, going 5.5 furlongs. Brooks slowly was down by 15 lengths early on, and as I alluded to before, even though that race had a fast pace, if you pick that slowly and you're that far behind in a 5.5 furlong, It's the only way you are going to win is if you teleport yourself to the front. Like you jump into a machine and just pop yourself like at the 8th pole and finish way ahead of everybody else. Because, you know, you're dead. You're dead. Horse rallied well, lost by 4 3/4 lengths, a good figure of 71, stretched out, again, was 4 to 5 in that field, came in 4th. Another figure of 71. So horse handled the stretch out in distance pretty well. He once again tries a mile. Here he's got good late pace figures of if he averages a 92. His only turn is there's really not a lot of early speed in this race. There's really no clear-cut front runner, so he could be pace compromised again. It's entirely possible that his amateur jockey is just going to keep him way off the pace, and then they'll hit the half in like 49 or 50, and then he's dead. So there's a lot of what ifs. I would not take the low odds. Maybe like 3 to 1 is the floor of what this horse ought to be. However, that's true of everybody in this field. It's not a great field. Not a lot of great horses. So, more of Destroyer with on the wings of, and he's also taking a pretty big drop in class here. He raced against straight maidens, now he's dropping down to bottom level maiden claiming. Of course, he has a great shot of winning. He's my play. Again, though, not at low odds. Don't do that to yourself. Hopefully, he'll be closing. That's for sure. He'll be closing. But we'll see how good his closing rally is. A few other horses to keep in mind before Indy Wars stretches out 5.5 furlongs to 1 mile. He showed a slight amount of early speed. He was 4th early on. He had decent early pace figures, so we'll see if he goes to the front. If he does, it could be pretty tough. Number 7, Drake the Mold is an over 10 maiden in capacities. He runs figures in the 70s and a 69 and a 67. And his last 2 grass drives, 1 at Pimlico and 1 at Laurel. Number 8, Baron is in the same boat. He'll be another one coming from far out of it. He made up about 15 lengths in his last race. He was 30 at 21 to 1 against $25,000 maidens. Now he drops in to $16,000. Interesting horse on the outside is number 10, the Intern, previously trained by Tom Morley. He was based out in New York for a while, and now this horse comes down to Maryland, and the trainer, Howard Wolfendale. I don't know how the old move to the father-in-law angle does, but I wonder if DRF has any staff on that. We'll have to check with them. Race 9 is the first stakes of the Laurel Park Fall Meet. It's the Challedon Stakes. It's for 3-year-olds. It's 7 furlongs on the main track. 2 of these horses are exiting the Coalition Stakes. The first stakes run in a million years, at least a million years, at Timonium back on August 26th. They are Rocketon By, who's a deep closer. He finished 3rd in that race. He tried to be 15 lengths behind at Timonium. That is the equivalent of trying to turn lead into gold. He can't do it. And he'll be coming from far out of it again, as well as with 4 Final Prospect, who just does not belong. He always tries in stakes. He always fails in stakes. It's going to be the exact same thing here. So, a horse I'm leaning to is number 6, A Fleet Willie. Last time out, he made a second start off of a layoff. He was last seen. He raced throughout the fall and winter, all up and down the East Coast. He won several times. He had a 3-race winning streak going for a while. He tried the General George Stakes in February. He came in 6th, lost the Harrison Johnson to an excellent router in Matt King Cole. He took a layoff, and then he wired an allowance group at Delaware Park, going 2 turns last time out, and ran a big figure of 98. Early pace figures in that field were very high, probably below too high. He didn't have to go 22 and 4 and 45 and 3 in the opening quarter mile, probably. However, he still held on. Those are good fractions, especially 45 and 3. That was a very honest. That was a 22 and 4 second quarter. He did back-to-back 22 and 4 second quarters and still held on, going 2 turns at Delaware. That's a pretty solid achievement there, and he has a big speed figure to back him up of an 88. It's a sprint. He has early speed. There's an excellent chance he'll be entangled with other early speed, including the horse drawn was inside anytime, any place. He was last seen on dirt back in May at Belmont Park. He came in third after challenging for the lead, and it wasn't terribly fast track. He had 22-4 opening quarter, 46-2 half. Pace figures were in the upper 90s, low 100s in that race. And he dropped back to finish in third. So we'll see how he does today if he holds on. The Journey has taken the place of Locky as the Great Maryland Bred Sprint Hope. He's won 3 in a row. He just passes his allowance conditions. Last time out, he stalked the pace from the outside, whooshed 3 wide, got to win, ran a figure of 95. So he's never going to figure quite as good as what a Fleet Willie usually does. However, its Journey could sit the trip. He'll be stalking at Fleet Willie at any time, any place on the outside, as well as a Red Dragon Tattoo in post 3, who'll be showing some early speed as well. And he just could sit off the pace, and when he gets asked by Alex and Sean, he could just go. So long story short, 6, Fleet Willie is a top player. I'm looking for at least 2-to-1 odds, I think, are fair on him. So use him, use It's Journey, and anytime, any place if you're playing any pick 4s or pick 5s or thereabouts. If you're playing an exacta trifecta, I'd use the 6 on top, try like 6 with 5, 7 exacta. Wheel that play. Just use some combination of those horses, and I think you'll be in good shape. All right, race 10 coming up here. It's another big field. Numbers of 1 other than allowance going 1 1/8 miles. It's the longest race of the meet so far. Obviously, we're not too far into the meet, but it's still pretty cool. Top pick in here is number 13, Do That Dance, who's going to be on the far outside. Last time out, he was in post 3. Out of 8 in the fine stakes over a very soft track at Laurel. It had been torrential rain there the day before, and if it was not a stakes day, that race would have been off the turf. That's a fact. If it was like some high-class allowance, it's off the turf. So it was over a very soft track. He stalked the pace, stalked a very slow pace. Well, it was slow without context because, it was very soft going. In fact, that's illustrated by the fraction of the half mile, 53 seconds flat, 3/4 of a mile in 1:18. So it was weird. He took the lead. He went on flattening out and came in third. He got a big figure though, big figure of 93, then 88.3 back when coming in second over a burn track here at Laurel back on July 15th. So no Abramson. He doesn't have many horses he fires though. 5 out of 8 in the top 3. Sheldon Russell picks up the mount. The only problem is he's going to be drawn on the far outside. It's going to be in post number 11 out here. So he'll be way out in the center of the universe. It's not going to be a fun situation. The goal for Russell is going to be to save ground with him. Save as much ground as he can, drop into the inside, kind of stalk, and then try to make a move and see what kind of crazy fun things happen with him. So he'll be the top play. I'll have to take about 4-to-1 in order to play him to win. Good reasoning is number 1 for the Grand Motion Barn. Last race on grass in the Caveat Stakes. He came in third in that field behind 2 good Maryland Breds. So he goes back into open company here. He's run figures in mid-80s. He has a good late closing punch, so he'll be stalking from far behind. Should be like mid-pack or so. And even if he gets like 6th or 7th early on, he saves ground on the inside. He could just fly through, and he'll be really rolling late. So he's one to keep in mind as well. I mean, 15 enough is enough. If he draws off the eligible list, trips in from Monmouth Park, ran a mile and 3/8 last out. Came in 4th, big figure of 86 and 86 and 87, 2 and 3 back respectively, and 1 against Maryland Reds at Pimlico back in May, and did a figure of 87 there. He's been the favorite 3 straight times. If he draws off the eligible list, I don't think he's going to be the favorite. I'd be surprised if he was the favorite anyway. So he's one, keep in mind, he could fly through the cracks, fall through the cracks, I should say. It could be a very square price. On to race number 11. This is the classic line. This is the best betting race of the whole day. It's a Shine Again Stakes. 3-year-old fillies, Laurel's version of to Shrine Again, because there's one at Saratoga as well. This is, I think, the original Shrine Again. I'm not sure. Shrine Again, of course, a very good Mid-Atlantic-based sprinter in the mid-2000s, early mid-2000s. 7 furlongs. It's field of 13. Many ways you can go here. I'm leaning for number 2. Summerhouse, a Saratoga invader who ran quite well last out. Won a non-winners of 3 other than allowance. It was a very wide open field. She stalked the pace on the outside, pressed them the entire way around, and then just got up against True Romance, who is also in this race, and drew number 9. We'll talk about her in a moment. Big figure there of 95 for Summerhouse. She had a 92, 91, 95 in the past. Draws a little bit closer to the inside, and will be showing early speed. In fact, could be the speed, at least the most advantageous speed in this group. Makes the first start off the claim for Diodoro. Trainer Robertino Diodoro, 25% first time off the claim. Very good sign. Exits the Jacobson barn, who is good, but not as good. And in fact, this mare has never raced at Laurel. She did win in Maryland, though, back at Pimlico on Black Eyed Susan Day, won by a neck at 5-1 odds in that race. As in my estimation, she was not a strong contender on paper in that race. Still got the job done. That's a good sign. And in a race like this, any horse you like is going to be a good value. And I think Summerhouse fits the bill in that field. From 6th line of Festive Fizz, one keep in mind, she is going to be coming here off a 5-day layoff. 5 days, folks. And she was probably one of the few horses in the history of Timonium to be exiting a Grade 1 and racing at Timonium. It was on Labor Day. Open allowance field. She lost by a nose after kind of a funky trip. She stalked the pace from the inside, had an angle 4 wide, just missed at low odds. Her figure was only a 77. Again, though, pass it off to Timonium. Chalk it up there. That's kind of what it is. The times aren't strange. Not that they're inaccurate, but they don't paint as good of a picture as times at Laurel and Pimlico do. Prior to that, she ran a 93 and a 94. She won against numbers of 3 other than horses at Parks. Came in 3rd in her Delaware handicap, going a mile and a quarter 2 back behind the champion, Songbird. Now faces much easier, cuts back to 1 turn. Keenan McGee, always dangerous, had a very good workout at Pimlico on September 1st at 4 furlongs and 48 seconds flat. If she goes, and there's no guarantee that she'll go off that fast layoff. However, if she decides to tackle this race, keep her in the back of your mind. Number 9, True Romance, I alluded to earlier, just lost to Summerhouse. Last time out at Saratoga. Prior to that, she was in the Rest Stakes at Monmouth Park, was near a 43 2.5 mile, and just blew up. She was up the track. Prior to that, she had won after being on a fast pace at Monmouth and a half in 44 3/5 seconds, and held on a win by half length. We'll see which True Romance shows up today. This horse is going to be showing early speed. It's a fact. How long she would want onto it is another story. And here's a summer horse in the dying days of summer. Number 13, Summer Reading. Last raced on the dirt back in June at Monmouth Park against numbers of 3 other than allowance horses. Won by 4 3/4 lengths. Big figure of 96. Was last seen at Saratoga against Stakes Company. Didn't do too much there. Comes in here for Jimmy Jerkins, was 28% off a 46 to 10-day layoff. Sean Russell takes up the mount. The outside post is cause for concern. But her running style should have her sitting stalking mid-pack on the outside, but she'll be losing. A lot of you take at least, if she's at least 6-1, think about betting her to win. You two in a pick 4, pick 5, but she'll be up against it. Good enough to win, but up against it. Alright, we're on. We have reached the end of the long and winding road. It's the finale. Starter allowance, $2,500. Field it up. Phillies and Mares, mile and 1/16. Field of 10 goes here. As this post time for this last race was supposed to be 6:40, give or take a few minutes, so it's going to be about a 5.5 hour day. So buckle up. It's going to be a good one. St. Mamie is a play here. Emilio Flores ships in from Penn National to ride this filly. She's got a ton of early speed. Has run at least an 80 in each of her last 3 races, including 82 last time out. She was against $15,000 horses over a yielding track. Stopped the pace, took the lead, flattened out. Last 2 times that she was allowed to have a clear lead on the grass, she won, including in winning against Allowance Company at Penn National. Comes in here. Main threat to show speed as well is before Venezuelan Beauty, but she's a little bit cheaper speed. She had been showing speed in sprints. Now she comes into a route, tries to stretch out. I don't know how that's going to play out. It'll play out well. See, you don't know. You have no clue. So St. Mamie is a top play in that race. One other keep an eye on is number 8, Desert Princess. Another one stretching out from routes, from sprints to routes. In 84 last time out was another one who was way behind in a grass sprint, was 11 lengths behind, came back to finish 3rd at 32-1 odds. JD Acosta retains the mount. She had been 5th and 2nd, respectively, in 2 route tries at this level last time out, and it's at the board in 5 out of 9 on Laurel grass, and is a very interesting play at possibly high odds. So number 9 is the top play here in race number 12. 8 is one to consider. Also want to throw in special shout out to number 2. Kara's Nene comes in from Suffolk Downs and won 4 in a row. Lost against Allowance Company at Suffolk. Trips back in here to Maryland. Trainer is 20% throw off the layoff in a 30-horse sample size. Always a good thing. This horse is going to be stomping on the inside and is undefeated over her log route. She is 4 for 4. It's Kara's Nene, number 2. 9, 2, 8 are the top plays in race number 12. And that is about a 3/4 of an hour summary of all 12 races at Laurel Park. Thanks for tuning in. If you lasted this long, congratulations. My name is John Piasek. I will be on Twitter on Saturday at This Week at LOL. I'll be giving you all the info that you have to know about everybody running, as well as my thoughts on everything and why I'd bet this horse or not bet this horse, and also give you some brief race recaps as to what just happened at Laurel. Last opening Saturday at Laurel, we ran 5 stakes. Handle was about $2.6 million. 2 stakes today, hoping for a handle of at least $3 million. Let's do it. Good luck. See you next week on This Week at Laurel Park.